Hello, and welcome to another training video series for Sound POS. Today we're going to be looking at employee management. Now, Sound POS offers two options in terms of employee management, two areas that you look at. The first one is providing access or restriction to different functions of the POS system, and we'll be looking at that. And then the second one is the actual management of their time clock. It's got a time clock feature built in, so you can keep track of the hours that are worked. All right, so first and foremost, let's take a look at the actual access. How do you restrict and create access for employees? And there are two ways to do that here. First one, we're going to look at the web portal. Pull that here. So I'll be logging in first to my reseller web portal, and then I'll be logging into a store. We're going to be using the convenience store that I've got here on my demo environment. It's called the Micro Market. So I'll log into the actual store and then show you where you can actually restrict access to the different functions. All right. So first thing you want to do is you want to actually create a user role for the POS. Okay. So that in this user role, then you can see, or you can limit on what are the different areas of access that you can give. So these are the different user roles that I've got for the store. We're just going to go into one of these. You can see the different areas. So you've got all the different functions at the register. And again, you can restrict each one, restrict your reports if you want as well. Okay. Then you've got your admin functions on here. Okay. And then you've got, of course, your system functions on here as well. Right. Inventory gives you, as you can see, a broad range of items where you can restrict different functions that you've got on here. Okay, the ability to, the authority to modify product and things like that. So you create the user role, and then you actually create the user. So we go back here, we get the different roles, and now we're going to go to the POS users, and you actually add a new user. Okay, so for example, the front counter, and in here, when you do add a new user, you've got a couple of things you want to look on here. First of all, if it's a store that does have any restricted age products, then you're required to fill out the birthday for the operator, because obviously, just like there's a restricted age for the individual who's purchasing the product, there's also an age for the individual who's selling the product. The second thing you want to look at is whether this individual is required to clock in or not. So you have the option if you have employees that work by the hour versus employees that are non-exempt versus exempt. It requires some of these to clock in when they do clock in here. Okay, you do have this hourly wage on here. You don't have it on the terminal. It doesn't really do much. Our system does not calculate your payroll for you. Okay, so this is something that we put in here, looking at maybe in the future being able to offer that option in the future. All right, so let me go ahead and clock out of here. And I want to show you the same thing on the actual terminal. All right, so we're going to go log into the web portal. Okay, and we're going to share the screen for the Sound POS. Make sure I've got the right, there we go. All right, so we're going to go to the E700 that I've got on here. Okay, and then share that screen. Whoop, sorry, my bad. Go to the E700. Come on. Got the Q20 for the E700. Here we go. Share that screen here. And then we're going to find that function under your maintenance screen. So let me go ahead and accept and then zoom in so you can view it a little bit larger. Accept it to share the screen, and let me zoom in. And like I said, you're going to find this function under the maintenance function that's here. Here we go to maintenance. And then you're going to see roles. So just like you saw on the web portal, you can do the same thing here. We got the same different roles you got on here. It's laid out just a little bit different. These are your sales or cash register functions here. And then you got all the other stuff laid out on there, that second tab under authority. So you've got your register like you saw before, your reports, your admin stuff, inventory, things like that. And then your system stuff as well. All right, so you create that here, and then you add the user. Okay, now you've noticed same thing as on the other side. If it is a restricted age product store, they'll ask for the birth date. You can enable the clock in requirement. You can even take a picture of the employee and have it on here. All right. And if you notice, there is a barcode on here, which you can print here. Or if we go back to the actual store portal, okay, and we go into POS users, if you notice that there's a button up here that says generate and download POS user barcode as PDF, all right? So you'll be able to print this out for every user. They can slap it onto we'll print it out on a label and then snap it onto an actual ID card or any type of an employee badge. And then they'll be able to log in even using the barcode if you've got a barcode reader on the system, all right? So that's as far as the different ways in which you can restrict access or provide access to different functionalities on the POS. The second function, as I mentioned, you do have a time clock function on here. If you notice, you get your time card here. You can activate it. And by the way, if you have a user that's maybe logged into the system and because they're ringing up stuff and somebody else comes in from inventory, that user doesn't have to log out to activate the clock, the time clock feature. They just activate it here and anybody can log in at this point in time using their user ID. All right, so I'll go ahead and use my user ID here. Okay, and then I'll clock in. It'll give me a welcome based on my role, administrator here. I'll say, okay, so I'm plugged in. Now I can get out of here. Okay, and finish doing whatever it is that I was doing. But I am logged in anyway as the administrator. Okay, when I'm ready to clock out, I'll go in here, time card. I'll go ahead and again, because this could be anybody who's clocking out, right? Doesn't have to be just me. Oh, see, that did not read my. Okay. All right, and I can go ahead and clock out. It asks me, you sure you want to clock out? Here we go. I just clocked out. And when I log out anyway, it's going to ask me whether I want to clock out if I'm clocked in at my ID. Now, for you to access these reports, right? Go back to the store portal here, all right, and you can actually export your hours worked. Okay, 90 days. I really don't have. I don't use the time clock feature that much for this demo store, so you're not going to see a whole lot of stuff reported on here. Okay, but it tells you, how many hours and clock time in, time out, and so forth. All right. All right. So with that, we conclude the presentation for your employee management. Thank you.